When will we learn? So I see that Lit Lane and the spaceship is going full throttle. I know it's late. I'm not going to be on too long, but we are going to talk about it after the 30. What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Jay. I hope you all are doing well on this morning. I am actually watching a countdown from Lit Lane, Demetra Lit All Day, um, trying to get information about Miss Pizarro. And I think it's really interesting. First of all, let me applaud Demetra Lit All Day for her sobriety, for really coming back and doing the thing and looking really good. I'm very proud of her progress. I'm very happy with her progress. I will say sometimes we can go out of one addiction into another. And I truly believe vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and I will repay. And it seems like things always work out for you when you allow things to play themselves out. I don't know if paying $500 for someone's information or to get information is the best thing to do. And it's almost like a race down to the bottom until somebody really gets hurt. And I know that Lit Lane and the spaceship has been going at it, but it's going to get really dark and somebody's really going to get hurt. And and we'll see. We'll see. We will see. I just hope that, and it's not even being the bigger person. It's like, is it really worth it? Is this going to change your life? Is this going to make you whole? Because we're only setting up a bad precedent for things to happen. Demetra said, I'm Jay Wilson. I got a sponsor. Go to meetings, work in the steps. Please don't use my recovery. Demetra, lit all day. I'm going to give my commentary. I said I was proud of you, and that's it. And so, again, your issue is with Pizarro. But since you're over here, it ain't going to end well. And when you fight like you fight now, no one comes out and recuperates well because the injuries are catastrophic to both parties. And a woman your age and have gone through what you've gone through, you would think that you would know better. But at the end of the day, you do what you gotta do, sis. Niece, you do what you gotta do. You do what you gotta do. And truth be told, Demetra Lit all day, I don't really give two damns what you and this lady do. I'm giving my commentary. And I don't care. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to end well. So again, you keep on going to your sobriety meetings and talk to your sponsor. But while you talking to a sponsor, go talk to a therapist because ain't nobody gonna get me to the point where I'm trying to do all of this mess for folk. And when you got to do all of this and folk pumping you up and priming you up, it's going to be a mess. But you know better. You a grown woman. You done raised your children. You done did this. Do what you feel is right, niece. If you feel that's the right thing to do, you do it. But I'm gonna tell you, it's not going to end well for either one because it's going to leave so many battle scars that nobody's gonna recover. But go ahead and do what you got to do. Because to be quite honest, none of y'all ain't paying mortgage over here. So, but I am going to give the commentary, and I can just see that this is not it. And you know what? This is why there are no friends on YouTube. And this is why I'm glad that I can look at this thing objectively because I don't have a problem with Pizarro. And really, I don't have a problem with Lit Lane. I really don't. I just think it's foolery. And I think that it's going to really not end well. And that's my opinion. Just like you all have opinions of me, I'm going to have an opinion. And mine is coming from a place of not being biased. So again, Jay Wilson, I got a sponsor to a meeting and working with steps. Please don't use my recovery. I'm not using it. Like I said I'm proud of your recovery. I hope you don't do something that will cause you to go into something else. Yeah, Joyce, but Joyce, I don't really care. These people don't listen, and she's gonna do what she wants to do. And this is how a lot of people get caught up in mess in the first place because they don't understand that this stuff doesn't end well. And maybe she'll get that information. How's that information gonna change her life? What is it gonna do? Knowing Miss Pizarro's real identity. And then what's gonna happen is you open that Pandora's box. So you don't have to like what I say. I mean, first of all, you ain't saved me. You ain't take a nail for me. You didn't get thorns in your head for me, nor did blood and water run out your side. So it's all cool. I mean, it's all cool. I don't hate you, but no one will censor me just like I don't censor you. Just like I'm not telling you to what to do. I'm just saying that it's not going to end well and it's not looking good. Now, if you do it, that's your issue and that's your prerogative. And I'm not telling you to be the bigger person. I ain't telling you to do nothing. Just know that for every action, there is a reaction. And it may not be what you want. That's all. Well, that's the whole thing, Lexington, Norfolk. I mean, and people talk a good game, people talk all of this stuff, and it's like, is it really worth it? Because you're gonna get what you want, right? But don't you think that other person's gonna do the same thing? And I just think it's yeah. So that's what I'm saying. And hey, tear each other up, tear each other up, do what you gotta do. Go ahead and start clawing at each other and doing these things. If that's what's gonna make you happy, do what you gotta do. But all of this stuff and you know what really bothered me the most, you all, and I mean that situation in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, is just a good indication of how social media can go awry. These two young ladies going to that lady's house while taping it on Facebook. And the girl was saying she's sorry, but she ain't with us no more. Or she's in critical condition. And see, this thing can lead to people getting so angry that they'll fly somewhere or do something that they'll regret later. And that's all I'm saying. And, do what you want. Miss Lit all day, Lit Lane, do what you want. You're a grown woman. We don't pay your bills. You said you don't have no bills to be paid for. That's awesome. and do what you want. Do what you want. So, but it's just not going to end well because just like you are tenacious, people are tenacious as well. Somebody said all three of them were first cousins. Okay, Lexington, right there. I mean, I just think we're living in a time where, you know, you just gotta keep it a buck. But if people have to prove themselves or do things, let them do it. And like I said, Lit Lane was over here. Whatever, sis. I ain't good night. Have a great night and do you. And again, you can't tell me what I can and cannot talk about. Because one thing, Miss Lit Lane, I'm I'm not your I'm not your junior. I'm your senior. And yeah, so run that by Pizarro, but I'm not the one. Um, when it doesn't make sense and when it seems like it's going to jeopardize both parties, I'm gonna say something about it. And I'm not jumping on a bandwagon and saying rah rah rah, go with it. I'm saying it for both parties. I think you're gonna hurt yourselves. I think this is not going to end well for either group. But yeah. So you all, how did this foolishness start in the first place? Like I said, it has to be something very triggering to have somebody to say, I am going to pay somebody $500 to find out who you really are. So what triggered this in the first place, which is interesting to me. And so, what did Pizarro do to Demetra Lit all day? Or what did they do to each other? Not blaming anybody, but it has to be something big when somebody wants to do that. And truly, I want to get clarity. I don't think the action is warranted, period. I think if there's something that was done really egregious, that you go through the correct channels to handle that because you don't want to find yourself in a jail cell or with charges or these things. So that's what I'm asking. So what warranted this that somebody would even want to do this? So that's my question. And maybe you all have the answer. I don't know if Lit Lane is going to bed, but maybe she has an answer because I'm really trying to get an understanding of it. Because what I don't understand is why are these people doing all of this to each other, knowing that it could backfire and people could do the same thing that you're threatening to do. Anybody want to help me out? Now, while I'm waiting for the answer, you all, um, for those hotel rooms for the cruise, I gotta work on a few things. I'm about business. Baby, I really don't know who you are, but I gotta get a few things straightened out. We're still working on hotels. I'm trying to get everybody a discounted rate. It's taking a little longer than I expected, but we are working on that. So please don't be blowing Vivian up. The cruise is still going on. We're still doing our thing. So Kiki, no, no, Kiki, I don't hate you. Oh, I don't hate you at all. And I don't think you're trash, Kiki. I think that sometimes you get attention and it's not always the best way. I never said I hate you and I never said you was trash. I just see some behaviors and my thing is, yeah. So So that's all I'm saying, Kiki. But right now, though, Kiki, to be honest, I'm really focused on the Lit Lane and the spaceship situation. So, do you know what happened? Now, what are we talking about? Because Kiki, tonight, I'm not going to be on too long. And I am talking about the lit lane situation and the spaceship. So that's what we're trying to focus on right now. I don't want to turn off of that. Oh, Joyce, I hope you're feeling better. And it's not about you showing yourself. And I would really like to talk to you because I don't think you're trash and I don't think you're a bad person. I just think some of your actions can cause some chaos sometimes. And I'm just being honest about that. And I really want to know what Kiki wrote to you, Kiki the male wrote to you that is causing all of this confusion. Now, Kiki, I'm gonna be available tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, maybe late morning. So, but tonight, I just really want to focus that. Bianca said, Jay Wilson, I miss those evenings when you would bring various folk on your panel for informative beef discussions. Yeah, Bianca, we might do that, but I'm at a different place. I know that people have gone through their steps of recovery and all of this stuff, but how do you recover from anger? How do you recover from rage? And this how and I'm trying to figure out what is the beef between lit lane and the spaceship. Now if somebody really knows the beef, that's what we're talking about now. Again, Kiki, I see you, but let me say this again. I don't think you're a bad person. I don't think you trash. I think sometimes you can be misguided. That's my personal opinion, but I'm gonna if I drop the link, it is about what is going on with the two situations going on with the spaceship and lit lane. That's my focus tonight. And so if you ain't talking about that, then I really don't want to talk about anything else because I think that this is something that we can watch and learn from because somebody is angry because of something, somebody is upset, somebody's looking for people's information. And so there has to be a reasoning behind this. And that's where I am because I really don't think the two individuals are going to benefit from this. I think people are going to be hurt. I think things will be exposed. And I don't think we need to go down this route. And maybe people can say, you know what, you go to your corner, I'm going to go to mine, leave me alone, I'm going to leave you alone. But it seems like it is gone beyond that. And what I'm trying to say is why? What would get us to this point where we want people's information to expose someone? Now, I'm not always a Pizarro fan. I think, Pizarro can do some things that I may not agree with, but I have never wanted to expose her or put her information out. Um, I think it kind of can be easy for faceless trolls to do a lot of stuff because, unlike people who do come on and cam up, I think that they get that layer of protection. But yeah, that's me. Tim Lit Lane is Demetra Lit all day. So that's that person. And of course Pizarro is the spaceship. And I'm just really trying to figure out what would cause another content creator to really want to expose somebody's info. And I'm not saying that that person doesn't have a right to be angry, but I'm just really interested and intrigued of what would cause that. And it seems like the only people who know maybe Kiki or Miss Pizarro. But do you all know how this started? And again, I haven't been really following Lit Lane except for her recovery and all of her situations, and I didn't know that there was even a major issue, but there is. And then what is it? Did Pizarro do something to Lit Lane? Did Lit Lane do something for Bizarro? Or is it, uh, how should I put it, an alliance type of thing? I'm just really, really trying to find out. Now, I know people are saying, well, Jay, you should know. But no, I just don't think it's right when you start doing the doxing thing and even offering money for it. I think it becomes problematic. Bianca said, I have followed the beef, but I have a bias to Bizarro. I think a more seasoned content creator, Pizza D, would be better. However, I'm a Bizarro supporter. Mademoiselle said, this doxing stuff is a mess. You don't know why people are hiding their identity. Could have escaped a domestic violence situation or something. Have fun and leave it at that. People do too much. Madam Pierre, I agree. Yeah, this unmasking of people, and again, you do that, but you don't know how far people will go. But they seem like they're ready to go. I'm hearing people say, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to do, and I'm listening, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, this is serious, and I just think people need to really be careful because it can spiral out to something that people don't expect, and I think it could go south real quickly. And I just think that we just have to be careful. And I'm not mad at Lit Lane. I'm not mad at the spaceship. I am a little disappointed with where it's going and what it could lead to. Now, I ain't telling people what to do. People are grown. They have their life. And if they feel that this is the right thing, if they feel that this is going to bring them some type of retribution and some type of vindication, I may not agree with it, but if you do it, think about your long term and your short term goal. A lot of people do short term stuff without thinking about the long term implications. And that's all I'm saying. And I'm not telling people to be the bigger person too. People are always telling me to be the bigger person. No, no, no. Be the person who don't go to jail. You just don't know where this will send you. And that's all. But Lit Lane was over here, and again, she's spouting off some stuff about her sobriety. And all I said is, I'm just happy that she is. I've seen the transformation, and I just hope that this is not something that is sprouting up that can be anger or what have you. And that's it. So, well, I guess no one knows. I'm really, really. So what did Pizarro do to Lit Lane? What did Lit Lane do to the spaceship? What did they do to each other? It may be a misunderstanding. What was said? Did Pizarro say something to you that offended you, or something you didn't like, or you just don't like how she moves, or because I think when you get to this point, it's like, wow, this must really have affected that person because they're doing some things. And what really bothers me is that when people get ready to do something that could be detrimental, the people that back them, the people that be like, yeah, go ahead and put your neck on her, put your foot on her neck. And I'm like, you know, how many times we think about that situation at the IHOP and folk was like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And then that person wound up in an orange jumpsuit at one point in time. You got to be careful. Madam Pierre, that too. I just think people need to really be careful. And I think the law is definitely catching up with a lot of this because a lot of things are happening on social media. And I think people need to be careful. Kiki, you get angry. That's understandable. But Kiki, this is what I'm going to tell you. And we will talk tomorrow. Hopefully, you'll come on the platform. But this is what I'm going to tell you, Kiki. You need to seek therapy. If you're to the point where things are on a spiral and you're getting angry, you need to see a therapist. If you really want to get to the root of the situation, you're going to seek the help for it. And I don't think being on YouTube is going to get you calmer. I think it's going to even stoke more anger. And this is all I'm telling you. So, Kiki, if you're really serious about your mental health and your balance in life, go find a certified licensed therapist who will give you the best information because they have the best tools and they're bound under HIPAA laws. So they ain't telling your business. These people on YouTube ain't bound to no such laws. So I'm not saying that you can't get angry. I'm not saying that you haven't had a moment. But if you're really concerned about your well being, then you'll get help about it. You know, if you have a dash in your skin and you bleeding, you're gonna go to the hospital. And if it's a deep wound, they're gonna give you stitches. And so I think you might have some deep wounds and you may need to go see someone. And that's what I'm gonna say. So it's not like I'm trying to ignore you, but I'm really, really interested in what's going on with Lit Lane and the spaceship. But I'm going to tell you, like I told you last time you came up here, if you're really serious about your health and well-being, you would do something about it. And and you know what? Talking to me is good, but you really need a licensed therapist because I can only give you so much. But you really need to get with somebody who can be with you and help you drill down to what's really going on. So my question to you is going to be, why are you always angry? What's making you angry? There has to be a root of what's making you angry. I go back to the spaceship and I go back to Lit Lane. What is causing all of this? Somebody said, send a prayer cloth, Jesus. Lord have mercy. Y'all so oh, Jasmine Red. Oh my gosh. But yeah. What's the root of these arguments? What's the root of these things? I mean, you know, Lit Lane, what got you to the point where you would offer somebody $500, your hard-earned money, to find information about Miss Pizarro? And when you find Miss Pizarro's information, let's say you find it. So what is that going to do? Is it going to resolve the situation? Is it going to bring peace? Or do you think it's going to be more chaotic? Do you think that people are going to start now looking for your information? I mean, do you think that what you're doing is going to broker diplomacy, or is it going to cause more chaos? And the question is, why are you doing it? And are you going to get what you need when you do it? And how long is that going to last? And that can go both ways. But that's what I'm asking. And I'm not questioning anybody's adulthood, and I'm not questioning anybody's choices, because whether I talk or not, you're still going to do it. But I'm just asking that you think long term, what could be the result? Because a lot of us think short term and instant gratification, but we don't think about the consequences down the road. Somebody said, Pastor, did you watch the show Grown and Gospel? It had adult children of Clark's sisters this year, Fred Hammond's daughter on it. No, Jasmine, I didn't get to watch it. And like I said, Kiki, I don't hate you, and I don't think you're trash. I just think that even with you showing the text messages with Kiki and all of that stuff, I think it's just chaotic. And again, Kiki, you have to realize that you've been into some situations that have not always put you in the best light. The IHOP situation, me, Tracy, Sean Bradley situation, that could have ended like crazy. And then now you're looking at this situation, and there's always a situation. So my thing is, do these things happen by, so, do they happen just for nothing? Is there something to it? Don't know, Kiki. Okay. Tim, I won't, because there has to be something going on very serious when you want people's information and you're willing to pay $500 to get it and then gonna go for it. And I'm like, what did pizza do that was so deep that you would want to do that? And and you're giving pizza the ammunition to come right back and do the same thing to you. Yeah, Bianca, but that's how people are. Yeah, that's how people are. Kiki, love you. And Kiki, girl, I'm telling you, get a therapist. Sis, get a therapist. Get a therapist because a therapist gonna help you unravel a lot of this stuff. Now, if you don't want it unraveled, then you'll continue to do the same thing. And if you really want to unravel this thing and make sense of it, find a therapist. But if you want to stay in it, just continue to do what you're doing. That's all. So hopefully, Lit Lane will tell us why she has such a dislike for the spaceship and why she's doing what she's doing. Maybe Pizarro did something, maybe she didn't. You know, maybe it was a misunderstanding. I don't know. But I just think that it gets real serious when people are saying, hey, I need somebody to find information and I have $500. That's deep. So what do you all think? What do you all think? What up, out of space, out of mind? I have a question. So why is Lit Lane so focused on that spaceship? And the only reason why I'm saying that is because I don't think it's going to end well for anyone. I think they after pizza because they're mad at her platform. So my thing is, why be mad at the platform? What be mad at the platform, but why try to find the person's identity? What are you going to do with it? What is the meaning of it? When you get it, is it going to make any difference, or what are you going to try to do? And that's what I'm trying to get to because it seems like a lot of anger. So what's going on with? See now, let me say this, Miss Pizarro. I have not looked at Heat and Ness because I just haven't, and I don't find it entertaining. But is that the reason? Boo, is that the real reason? Is that the real reason? I'm really, and I'm being honest. I'm just trying to find out why. I'm just trying to find out why people are coming to find out that information. And I'm going to say this to you all. I have noticed with these people, they feeling themselves now. They really getting besides themselves. They're gonna have to bring them down. And I'm like, what a really stifling mentality. Okay, I think 500 could be used towards bills. Um, Pizarro said she blamed me for this heat flagging Deanna over Ness and said I was okay with it. So Deanna page was flagged. I mean, her video was flagged. So why is she blaming you for what Deanna chose to do? Yeah, I'm trying to make sense of why trying to be a detective to get your information to do heaven knows what with it has to do with you. Because I truly thought you had did something personally to her, like say something to her personally or do something to her personally. Because I'm like, wow, now there's a countdown and I'm like, okay, well, what's really going on? And like I said, y'all, Demetra Lit All Day was here, and also Miss Pizarro is here, and I have not passed judgment on any. I just think that you get to a point where when you start doing this stuff, it gets dark, and people get real hurt, and I don't know, people get wounded, and you may win the war, but at what cost? You know, so you have the award for a month and then you so wounded that you can't come back from it. I think people just need to be very careful. Hi Jay Wilson, since you asked, we think Kiki has histrionic personality disorder, the need for constant admiration, attention, and approval from others. Okay. I'm not going to expose anyone, but I need to talk. I can't do this. What can you not do, Kiki? Because Kiki, really, I'm really interested in what I'm seeing with Pizarro. Lord J. Wilson, this lady's about to do you like the other lady months ago. You on the subject, she trying to force you to. Now, no, I'm sticking to Demetra Lit All Day and Spaceship because I'm really interested in that. Yes, this heat flagged her and she got mad because I had Ness and this heat on my panel when this heat flagged Deanna, but Deanna hit my link that same day. Really? That typically stem from childhood. Okay. Kiki, Kiki. Let me say this again, Kiki. I will be more than happy to talk about your situation another time, maybe tomorrow. But tonight, I'm really focused on Lit Lane and the spaceship. Okay? I don't think you're trash, and I don't hate you. I think that you do some things, and all I'm saying is if you're really serious about getting that help, you would get a therapist. And I ain't lying about that. And I'm gonna keep on saying that because ain't no way you're gonna really get the help you need on these YouTube streets. I think these YouTube streets will make your situation worse. So Miss Pizarro said she went that same day and dragged me. Since then, she's been coming at me. Okay. Interesting. Live. Okay. It's more than this heat, though. Demetra has been mad ever since the Kimmy situation. She feels like Bree and Pizarro left her out to dry when she was dragging Kimmy at the time. Well, just say that, because I think all of these smoke screens and all of this projection of why you doing this, it doesn't make any sense. And all I'm saying is, if you all are telling me all of this stuff and this is it, then it don't make no sense, because that ain't worth trying to expose somebody. And I just don't, and I don't agree with it. Now, you can do what you want to do, because you cannot stop grown people from doing what they want to do. And I want to make that plain and clear. But I just don't think that it's going to end well. That's not about Kimmy, because we was cool before that this heat thing happened. So Demetra is mad that she can't sit with Pizarro and Bree. Wow. Y'all, let me say this. I just think it's wrong to do all of this heavy duty doxing. Um, and if I'm not mistaken, Lit Lane offered somebody $500 to get Pizarro's information to expose Pizarro. Now, don't get me wrong, Pizarro is in the beef sector, and we know people try to do these things. Is it right? No, because people don't really have to interact with Pizarro if they don't want to. They really don't have to interact with her. But I think that it's wrong, and we're going down the wrong path when we do this for reasons because we heard, or reasons because we have a perception of something, and I just don't think it's going to end. Mm. So like I said, if this is it, you all, and I just really want to kind of get now I've heard from Pizarro. Now I know Lit Lane came on earlier and said something, but it wasn't to this particular point. But do you all think that she's warranted to do this? Do you think that Pizarro deserves to be unmasked and exposed? And what is that going to do? Do you think it's going to do? Because my thing is, if you do it, then what is it going to do for Pizarro? I mean, I'm not the type of person who's trying to take anybody's money and stuff, but I'm like, you know, what is it going to do? And it just doesn't seem right to me. And I don't care how Pizarro can be a little boisterous and a little loud, but I don't think that it warrants this. And if Pizarro strikes back, then and my thing is, when people offer that, it's like, what? And I think we got to be careful, because it's almost like the Trump situation of implying that people do something and then folk let you do it. But if something happens, they're the ones who are ultimately responsible. And I think people got to be careful with that, because you are telling people, go dox this person. I'm going to give you $500 if you do it. And I just think you just got to be careful with that kind of stuff. Wow. Y'all, I mean, let me say this. I thought it was big. I thought that Pizarro may have done something to Mitra, like maybe doxed her, did something out of the ordinary. I mean, so Pizarro, let me ask you a few questions. And I'm gonna drop the link for Pizarro. Kiki, I'll deal with you tomorrow, sis. I just can't deal with you tonight because it's a lot of stuff going on with you and it's a lot to unpack with you. But this is really for Pizarro. Pizarro, did you do anything to this lady? I mean, besides the typical YouTube beef and roast and gag, did you do anything major to her? I mean, did you dox her? I mean, to be honest, and please just let me know, did you do anything to her that would cause her to lash out like this that you know of? And I'm not accusing you. I'm just really trying to understand because it seems like she's extremely upset and how she was sounding is like you had really did something to her. And I'm like trying to say, okay, well, what? What is it? Because it just sounds really like a lot of anger and I'm not appreciating you. It's like y'all, like somebody did something wrong to her. And I've read y'all comments and everybody's saying that it started out from some petty stuff. It's not really major stuff. And I'm hearing this. And again, Lit Lane, if you're here or if you're a Lit Lane supporter, and if these people are getting it wrong, then what's the right story? I'm just really interested in hearing it. Somebody said, honestly, maybe Demetra is looking for her moment. It could be that simple and smart. It could be. It could be. But this is what I want y'all to get. Is the moment worth doxing someone? Is the moment worth, because what is that going to do? It's going to show you that, hey, I got power and you ain't going to mess with me because I got power and I'm going to show you. And really what it does is causes more strife. And, you know, and so I'm just trying to figure out what's going to be the solution. That's it. Kiki, let me say this, Kiki, I really want you to get help. And I'm not playing. I don't think you are trash. I don't think you're a bad person, but I think that you have to deal with those emotions and and yeah. And I told you, Kiki, if you don't get help, then you're going to go through this. And I don't care how many times you talk to me, you really have to make the steps that if you are really serious about making your life better, that you're going to do the necessary things to make your life better. And I don't care how many times you talk to me, you really need to talk to a therapist. And that's the truth. And it's not like I don't like talking to you because I'll be more than happy to do that. But I'm on one specific topic tonight. And I'm really just trying to figure out why there's so much anger with Demetra Lit all day and Pizarro. And it's a conflict. And that's what I'm interested in. And I'm not telling again people what to do, but I just think you just got to be careful in this environment how you handle some things, and that's what I'm trying to get across. So, um, yeah, I see pizza everywhere, and she's just gagging and laughing. So I don't know people to be pressed by. Well, we'll see what happens, but I think it gets really serious when you offer people a financial incentive to get information on somebody. And my thing is, why get the information? What is it going to be used for? Did Miss Pizarro commit a crime? Did she? Did she? I'm just trying, and I'm just being real with it because I mean, now we're offering money, And I just think we just got to be careful because we don't know who's out there and what they're doing. And y'all, we're just living in a different world where people can be heavily influenced by the wrong thing and do something wrong because, we don't think we have influence over people, but people are watching us. And I just think we just got to be really careful. And that's why I'm just trying to figure out what really happened, what went on, why so much of this. So I guess we'll find out. Demetra has always wanted to be a part of Nika Pizarro Brianna clique, but they really don't like her. They tolerate her from time to time. Demetra knows it deep inside, my opinion. Somebody said for Demetra, I think it is. I think she wants the bragging rights to say that she's the one who popped Pizarro. Truthfully, there was no real issue between them two until this situation. Okay, because it really seemed like it was a situation. I'm like, wow. I'm like, what did Pizarro do to this woman? I'm like, this woman is really on that situation, and so, well, let's see what happens, you all. I just hope it doesn't happen. I think that long term it may not end well. You may get a little short term gratification, but long term it may not work out for you. Who is this? Who is this? I see. Okay, hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute. Let me put my banner up. Give me a minute. Hold on. Let me put my banner up. Mm. Hold on, y'all. Let me put my banner up. Oh, the person just left. Okay. The person just left. The person just left. Hold on. Kiki, I can't do it tonight. I can't, Kiki, because this is what I'm trying to say, Kiki. My focus is not the situation you're going through right now. My situation is Demetra lit all day and Miss Pizarro. And Kiki, I'm gonna tell you again, tomorrow we can talk about it. Tomorrow we can talk about it, but tonight is not that night. And I mean, my focus is on this. And I got the information that I needed, but and like I said, I don't know the lit lane people because I could be wrong. But y'all know what was really deep? Let me tell you what was really deep. And I guess it is a alliance thing, but let me tell you what was really deep. I saw people cash apping and saying, "Yeah, get it," and stuff. And I'm like, are we to that point where we pushing people to chaos? And y'all, I'm not trying to be an angel of light. I ain't trying to be Uncle Mother Teresa. I ain't trying to be all of that. I'm not. But my thing is, either we part of the problem or part of the solution. Either we're trying to bring out peace or we're going to try to bring out chaos. And that's it. And in this situation, like I said, I'm not telling Lit Lane what to do. I'm just saying consider what you do because it could have repercussions later on down the line. It could come back to bite you later down the line. And I'm not here to say stop, and I'm not here to fight or fuss with you. But as a person who has dealt with chaos, you know how it looks. And I just think that you just got to really be careful. Kiki, people, look, Kiki. Kiki, I can't stop people from doing what they do, Kiki. And that's the whole thing. And this is why I think you need to step away from YouTube, because in the beef sector, I've seen people say ugly things about me when I get into a room or when I get on a platform. And all I'm saying is, if you feel this way, Kiki, then truly it's the time to get off and reevaluate it. And like I told you earlier, you're not getting the help you need being in the beef sector and on YouTube. You're going to get the help you need by going to see a therapist. Somebody said Demetra feels that Pizarro is worth $500. Yeah, I guess. And like I said, that's her money. People do what she want to, you know. But it shows you that this lady, I don't know, I just see a lot of it. And here's an underlying reason, and I find it hard to believe that this is the reason. And y'all could be very much telling the truth that this is the reason, but it speaks to the person more. It speaks deeper to the person of why would you even do this, and what has really triggered you to do this. You know, wow. Well, Kiki, they shouldn't blame you. If you didn't do anything, you shouldn't have anything to worry about. I think people really need to be careful, y'all. Wow. So I'm reading your comments, and no one has said that Pizarro has done anything to Lit Lane. And Lit Lane, you're very welcome to come up and dispute that if we're wrong. Kiki, I'm being kind tonight, but I am holding to my guns. I said that I want to stay on this topic, and I've given you a little play, but we'll talk about it tomorrow for sure. So y'all think it's jealousy? Y'all think it's for not being included? And to be honest, now be honest. Have you all seen Basaro really do anything? Now I want you all to be very objective, because Basaro does her show. Pizarro talks about people. Pizarro has talked about me, but I'm not angry or upset at Pizarro because that's what people do in the beef sector. Wow, I'm reading that. She talks about a lot of people, but she isn't doxing. Well, we all talk about a lot of people. Well, we're gonna see this play out. I see that there's a countdown, and you know, I don't know. People just people just go different routes. Now, let me say this: those content creators I like, I like. Some of them I don't like, but I think they have a good show, and I love their show. But yeah, yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out too. Um, which I think is another dangerous precedent that people need to stop. People really need to stop because you know you can only deal with so much, and then when that stuff starts happening to you, hey, I'm a fiance. When it happens to you, then it gets a little deep, and I think people just need to be very careful in what they do to people because that can easily flip, and the script could be flipped. And what you give out to other people, you got to be prepared to get it yourself. And that's why I tell people you have to be very careful with how you treat folk because it can come back and bite you. And a lot of people don't believe that. And I think, and again, I celebrate Lit Lane. I'm happy because of the situation, but, you know, people change on a drop of a dime. And I just think you just got to be careful. Those are my thoughts, y'all. Somebody says, so allegedly, VS has a court date with one of the Mo3 ladies and showed the paperwork. I haven't been keeping up with her. I'm sorry, y'all. And it's not because I have an op with her, but her biggest triumph for me was just coming back to the sector and moving on. So I don't watch it. Demetra has to understand being alcoholic. She's only humiliated herself. Stop trying to humiliate other because okay. Demetra has always felt away because she feels Bizarre and Bree gave shine to other people and not her. Wow. Jay Wilson gives off my father. So, well, again, if you were my daughter, I would tell you to get help. If you were my daughter, I would be concerned about your mental health and wholeness. And if you were my daughter, I'll say, well, if YouTube is getting you agitated, and it's bringing you back and the words are hurtful what the people are saying to you, then you might need to step away. And also, if you were my daughter, which you're not, but if you were, I would say go get some mental help, find a counselor, because the longer you're in it, the harder it's going to be to come out of it. So go ahead while you have the mindset to know that, hey, I need to get the help to get the help. So that's what I'm saying to you, Kiki. And I don't hate you. I just think that seeking attention on here is not going to do you the best good. I think you can do yourself a favor by taking a break and getting yourself together instead of being on here. So that's what I'm telling you. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know her relationship with her daddy, and I'm nobody's daddy, but if it's going to help her to get the help she needs, then I'll be her surrogate father until she gets that help. Because Kiki, that's the only thing I'm gonna tell you. You're not gonna get anything else out of me except get the help that you need. Mm, I'm a fiance. A lot of people are saying that. Well, I get better in one area of your life, but go so dark in another. Hmm. Let me say this to Kiki, honey. When you when it gets dark enough, you'll find your way to help. See, one thing is I can continue to say it, but you have to make that decision. And I can't force you. It is my desire that you get it. But Kiki, I hope you just don't get to a place where you can't come back and can't get the help. So I just hope that one day God reveals himself to you and say, guess what? Enough is enough. And Kiki, you're going to get to the point where enough is going to be enough. And it'll change. It'll change. I can't force you to do anything. I can only suggest that you get the help because at the end of the day, you have to make that ultimate decision, and no one can make that choice for you. That's a choice that you have to make yourself. All I'm going to do is encourage that you do the right thing. And I am going to ask you, but I'm not going to ask you just to pray. I'm going to ask you to pray because faith without works is dead. And when you pray, God usually gives you an answer. He'll usually give you some instruction after the prayer. So all I'm gonna say is pray and listen to God. But I am gonna say go get some professional help. Not because you're crazy, but you need professional help. And I think that this is the problem in a lot of communities because we think, well, I ain't crazy, I ain't sitting on no couch. But the couch is probably the best thing you can do. But my answer to you is always going to be the same thing, Kiki. Get help. Get help. Because talking to me is good, but you need to talk to somebody who can really help you unpack a lot of this stuff. There's some deep childhood issues that you may be going through that you need to unpack. And so I think that's what you need to do. So once she hit the bottom, she'll stop. Yeah. I mean, but some people don't come back from bottom. So I just pray that she never gets to the point that she don't come back from bottom. I'm a fiance said she has a hate for Pizarro, and now Fly is actually shouting her out in her live. Well, like I said, you all, when people when people start hating somebody that somebody else hates, of course people gonna shout people out. That's just a typical YouTube response. I really don't like you either, but you don't like that person, and I'm really there for you. Yeah. Lord, one day I worked past out, so embarrassed. The lady come. Mm. But y'all look, I think I'm a fiance hit the nail on the head. How can you recover from something but yet go to something that's so dark? I think that's a big thing. And people talk, and again, since you have a sponsor, um, Lit Lane, since you said you have a sponsor, mention this to the sponsor and see where he leads you. Tell the sponsor what's going on. Tell the sponsor that, I got an issue and I'm on social media And I find myself finding information and putting people's things out. What do you think about that? And find out what your sponsor would think about it. I mean, I'm just being, since you mentioned it, because I think anything could trigger somebody back. And you got sponsors, maybe you need to speak to your sponsor about this too. I'm just saying. Hmm. Well, yeah, and that's that. 'Cause let me tell y'all something. It was so deep. I'm like, what did Pizarro actually do to this lady? Because this lady is really serious about Pizarro and putting her stuff out. And then she's like, "Come on, because I can go gutter too." And I'm like, "Oh wow, what did Pizarro do?" And I'm listening to y'all, and I'm like, "What?" Somebody said, and thinking about it, when Demetra was drinking, yes, she yelled and hollered, but she never doxed. She took pride in never doxing. Well, I just think it gets, I don't want people to go back to anything. I'm serious, but I just think that at a certain age, we have to, I don't know, like I said, 5 years of beefing and crazy stuff. It's like, okay, and I'm not here to argue with people. If Lit Lane thinks she's doing the right thing, then by all means. But when something boomerangs around and that thing comes back, you know, yeah, that's gonna be real interesting. And like I said, since you're talking about your sponsor, tell your sponsor about this. How would your sponsor react to it? What would they tell you? Somebody said if I was Pizarro and she tried me like that, I would. And nah, see, I wouldn't want to trigger anybody to go back down that route again. Um, Kiki, I don't know what you're talking about. Kiki, I don't know who this man is. And Kiki, this is so Kiki. I want you to look at what you're doing. I want you to look at what you're doing now. Kiki, people have accused you of gaining attention for yourself. Now, I want you to see what you're doing. We're talking about Lit Lane and we're talking about Pizarro. And right now, all of this has been about you and this person. And I just think it's really interesting. And I'm not saying you're a bad person, but we don't know who this is. And at this particular point, I'm not trying to say I don't care who it is, but if you can't wait to this afternoon or late morning, then I think it's a distraction because yeah, yeah. Well, okay, if he's not on YouTube, then how are we going to know? And again, maybe that should be something we discuss tomorrow, but not today because our mind isn't really focused on that situation. Our mind is really focused on Spaceship and Lit Lane. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Kiki. I just want you to look at your stuff. So, giving a poll real quickly, because I'm getting ready to do a poll. How many of y'all think that Pizarro is wrong? If you think she's wrong, put a one. If you don't think she's wrong, put a two. So how many of y'all think Pizarro is the root of this mess? And if you think she is, put a one. If you don't think she is, and I'm talking about with Lit Lane. So I see a two. I see a two from Tam. I see a two from Fiance. And Miss D has a two. So I see a lot now. Baby says one. Oh Lord, okay. Beyond okay. Pizarro owes nothing to. So I see a lot of two. So how many of you all feel that this is a Demetra lit all day problem, and what do you think this stems from? So if you think it's a Demetra lit all day problem, put a one in the chat, and tell me the reason why you think it's a Demetra lit all day problem. I've heard jealousy. I heard a lot of stuff. So, but what do you all really think? And I'm looking at your comments now. One, way too invested. Okay. 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 One, she has her own problems and she just wants to feel like she belongs somewhere. It's a Demetra problem. She old to be a pick me. Wow. So, what would you all do if you all were Pizarro? Because again, I don't know. I'm just looking at the whole thing, and I'm like, I think Pizarro is handling it the best she can. From Pizarro can get pretty down gutter herself, but it's deep because people can only take so much. So, is this a ploy to get numbers? Is this a ploy to get back at Pizarro? And hurt people usually hurt people. I think she wants the attention from attacking Pizarro. Yeah, hurt people usually hurt people. So I'm just really trying to figure out what's going on. Somebody said ignore her. Now I'm gonna tell you that ignoring really helps. There are some people who want attention and you don't give it to them, and it really bothers them, and you just keep it moving. So yeah, yeah. And you all, I really am concerned about Kiki, but I'm gonna if Kiki will allow me, Kiki will have my undivided attention tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but later on this morning or in the afternoon. But right now, my focus is what we have been talking about. Now I'm gonna ask y'all a question. Do you all think I'm being balanced with what's going on between the spaceship and Demetra lit all day? Because I don't have a bone to pick with any of these ladies. I don't have I'm just thinking of long-term implications. And I'm like, how can we be diplomatic? And it seems like there are some deep-seated root issues with some people. And I just think, yeah, I hope I'm being unbiased. I hope I'm being balanced. And I've given Miss Pizarro a chance to come up, and she didn't, but she explained a lot of stuff. And I've given Lit Lane the to come up. Now we'll probably hear from Lit Lane tomorrow, and she'll probably have a lot to say. And that's good because I want to hear why Pizarro is her target. And she may have a reason, and I would love to hear it. I really would. Pizza was ignoring, but she kept on doing things until she found a way to trigger a response from. Okay, I see what you all are saying. Okay. Pizarro said she was sleepy. I got you. Somebody said I remember Miss Pizarro trying to help Demetra pay her rent along with Bree So she has $500 to give away. Well, she says she does, and I'm not counting anybody's pockets. Mm, okay. So I said what I pretty much said, you all, and I'm getting ready to lay it down. I just hope um, that these ladies work this out. I hope revenge or vengeance don't get the best of a person. I hope that's not the case because it won't end up well. And getting Pizarro's information is, I don't know what it's going to do, but don't don't repay evil with evil. Again, I'm going to say, vengeance is mine, said it the Lord, and I will repay. Because when you start doing that evil for evil stuff, it don't work out. It don't work out. It really doesn't. So I'm gonna leave it like that. I want to hear what Kiki has to say, but my my response to Kiki is going to be the same. My response to Kiki is going to be get some help, and yeah, get some help. Get some help. Um, and I just see a lot of anger and rage on these YouTube streets. And if you can't laugh at yourself, and if you take yourself that seriously, then maybe you shouldn't be on YouTube. I mean, how many things people have said about me? It is what it is. I mean, I've heard it all, and it just doesn't bother me because my check comes in, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day. I just think that it gets to the point where when people got a dox, there's something wrong. That person has gone off the rails. Something has made that person feel like I'm less than or I'm inferior or something has made me angry or something has triggered me. And I'm just like, what? And I think that's a big thing. But like I said, I have not heard Lit Lane's version, but I did hear what Miss Pizarro had to say. So I think it's interesting. Unhinged, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, see that kind of stuff right there. You know what? If some rider lives are at Phi Babe, or if some of the rider lives are at grown folk, they grown. I can't tell people where to go. I just can't. And it just gets to the point where I'm not trying to control people's lives like that. And what I do off this camera is totally different what I do on it for the most part. So, that's how I think about it. Her and Tia. I like Tia. I think Tia is funny, but she beefing with Tia as well. Okay. Mm, okay. Eat peace with all men. That's Bible. At least try. Jasmine, that's what a lot of people say. That's all you can do is control yourself. Yeah. Well, that's Demetra's decision. She has to decide what she shares and not share. But I think that it could be a problem. Mm-mm. And again, let me say this to Lit Lane and Spaceship. I ain't angry. I don't hate you all. I'm giving my commentary, which I'm allowed to do. People give commentary on me. It's all good. That's what we do. I just hope that you all come to a amicable solution and not rip each other and tear each other apart till nothing is left. And I just see that's happening. And I just hope that doesn't happen. I'm going to turn this air condition down. It's getting hot. Okay. This last day weather. One day it's cold, one day it's hot. Let me get on up here and turn this air condition on. I probably put it on 68, 60. I can't sleep in no hot house now. Lord, I know can't sleep in no hot house, Jesus. No sir, Bobby Jr. Well, like I said, y'all, I like Demetri Lit all day. I think she's funny. I love her voice. Um, I just sometimes people, I don't know, do some things that are not always the best choices. I'll put it that way. And we all have made mistakes. So I want people like, oh, he act like he ain't make no mistakes. No, I've made some, but you got to learn from them. And it's called action, reflection, action. And and you got to reflect and say, you know what, that worked, that didn't work. What consequences that this caused? Do I want to deal with this again? And you got to make some adjustments. And that's all I'm saying. You have to make some adjustments. Jasmine, and immediately that is so insecure of them. As long as that individual is not playing in your face, there should never be a problem with where anyone goes. Yeah. Well, y'all, when people are when they are angry or feel slighted or feel overlooked, they tend to do some things. And y'all, we just gotta be honest with ourselves. And again, I was sharing that I was at a service and I was supposed to sing. And my intentions wasn't right. My intentions was, ooh, I'm gonna show them that I can sing. And it was like God said, you're gonna sit right here. You ain't getting up there. And you know what? I didn't sing that night because my intent for going up there was wrong. And I had to really examine that. And let me tell you something, we don't like to do stuff like that. We don't like to, but sometimes we really have to do that to keep us grounded and to say, that's not who I am, or that's what. So yeah, yeah. I'm reading y'all comments. And so I just think that people have to be really honest. And that's why I was asking those questions. What did Pizarro do? What triggered this? Because I was really interested. Because if Pizarro would have doxed her or did something, I'm like, oh my goodness. But I'm not getting a real concrete answer of why. Now, how fair is that? She supposedly has Pizarro's daughter on her community wall, but I hate to say it, but Demetri don't even. I'm gonna leave that alone because I don't know that lady's personal life, but I'm gonna leave it alone. And it can backfire. People can look at this as, okay, we don't like Pizarro, but Dad, why you bullying, or why you all posting the latest information, or all of this, and I just think it gets really interesting. And I think sometimes people be egging folk on, and it ain't always good because when you have to take responsibility and accountability for your actions, you can't blame that other person. You can't say, well, this person supported me while I did this. And because the ultimate decision is yours, it's yours. And that's why I think that it's not a good thing. But I can't control people. Y'all right. You can only control yourself. But what I can do is give my opinion on what I feel and what I've seen so far. Well, y'all hurt people, hurt people. Hurt people, hurt people. And I truly believe that. People can't love you when they don't love themselves. And I'm not saying that with Demetra, but I'm just saying that in general. You know, we expect people to give us something they don't even have. So I can't expect somebody to give me emotional intelligence and they don't have it. But you got to meet people where they are. And that's why I hope that these people really see that this could prove detrimental with all of this back and forth and this serious fighting. Well, you all, it's about that time. It's 2:32, so I'm getting ready to go on off. But maybe we'll get our answers tomorrow. Maybe we'll hear from those content creators who are having issues tomorrow. Again, no issue with Demetra Lit all day. I just think that, long term, you got to think about some things and have no issue with Pizarro. I just hope that it works out and no one gets hurt during this challenging time. So those are my thoughts. So y'all have a good night. Peace and love. Hit the like button, share, and I'll talk with you all later. Peace and love, y'all.